Well, just obviously we're all excited about having a chance to open up Big East Conference play. At home on homecoming. It's just to be a great Saturday. Playing a heck of a football team. As you guys know, I mean, this probably is one of the, whether they're 1, 2, or 3 in terms of best talent in the conference. There's absolutely no question about that. The most senior veteran quarterback in the conference. They've got playmakers all over the field. So I got a lot of respect for South Florida's ability. Offensively, they're dynamic, they're explosive, they should be. Veteran team, and they are. They've posted up 500-600 yards offense every game. Defensively, they got some real stars in there. I love Sam Barrington, the linebacker. They're big nose guard. They're just big and powerful up front. So we're playing a heck of a football team, and obviously a preseason favorite as a contender for the Big East Conference Championship. So it would be a great challenge for us. I like the way our team's been preparing. I like the way we've been working. We're a young team, but we're trying to eat. We're developing. Obviously, when that happens, sometimes you do practice. You're seeing some really great things going on in the field. You're like, wow, look at that, we're really close. And then other times, you dip a little bit. And that's a byproduct of having a young football team. That's where that is. And we're playing a veteran-laden team. We're going to have to play a heck of a football game on Saturday, which, I really feel like our kids have the opportunity to do that. But you got to go do it because they're very explosive. So if you don't play your best, they can jump on you. But I think our kids are practiced well and prepared well, and they're excited about the game. And I've seen some real positive things. I hope those positive things I've seen at practice show up Saturday at game time. And so that's kind of where we are. As I said, a lot of respect for that football team that's coming in here. They've played some darn good football teams themselves right now. We've played some darn good football teams too. We've played 3 games. Most people are going into their 6th. We played a Penn State team that I told you was a good defensive team, and they are. They're a good team. They're growing. They had a bunch of, this was supposed to be a great year for them. They lost a few marquee players that would have made them a top 10 team. And Maryland is probably a lot like us. A young team, an ACC team, a young team. And of course, Villanova's off to a good year. And so we've got to parlay this in, and our focus right now is to play real physical, play real tough, and to grow. To grow. That's what we want to do in this game right now. And win. Any questions?
Yes. Have you ever been in this situation before where you started the season and all of a sudden you had 1 game in 4 weeks?
No.
And
no.
how have you gone about handling it?
Well, it's honestly the first bye we had was the best thing for us. I mean, we literally couldn't have really fielded an appropriate team the next week. That's how riddled we were with injuries, and that's not an exaggeration. That's just the facts. And it's really, really slowed down our growth. This last bye, that wasn't the case. But, it gave us a chance to get these young players. Like, I looked on the field today, and there was 4 freshmen, 2 redshirt freshmen starting on the offense. I mean, so it's given us a chance to get these guys kind of caught up to speed, or at least in position where we feel like, we can better get them on the field. So, would I rather have played a game last week? Absolutely. No question. We really needed to. But in the same breath, I think, we got some things done. It's hard for me to measure and gauge the lack of playing many games in the last 4 weeks is the effect that's going to have. Your biggest growth comes in these spurts where we're down, where we're not playing, and so that's why we had to go out and we had to scrimmage. We really basically scrimmaged. Today we did, and you just basically had to do that. You're rolling the dice with that, but. I don't know what else to do. For me to sit and think with a young football team that we can go scout team work and the speed of the game would hit us like a freight train on Saturday. So, I liked what we did, and we're a little banged up, but I mean, our focus right now is development. I can't worry about that injury thing as much right now. I got to worry about development.
Starting conference a month into the season, how unusual is that? How different are those games than the regular season?
Well, for us, we didn't, I mean, the last two games we played BCS teams. I mean, some people forget that a little bit. I mean, it's like, well, Penn State, what are you talking about? I mean, Penn State just put a shellacking on Illinois. I mean, I knew that, so like we played good teams, we didn't have the luxury, some programs schedule themselves 4 wins non-conference and they get in the conference, give yourself a chance to, but I mean, we played, our philosophy here was different. We were in the MAC and we were going to play those premier games. It was the right thing. It's the right thing to do. And, now we're jumped in here. So our front end games are pretty darn competitive, to tell you the truth. Okay. So I'm hoping that helps us, but there are 2 games in 4 weeks and that's no one's fault. It's just the way it is because of the lack of the 12th game. And it's all part of the deal for us to, pound into the Big East right now, which is the most important thing for our university. And so I'm all for it. So whatever we have to deal with, which is a little unusual, we're going to deal with. I mean, 2 bye weeks, the young football team coming in right now, the inability to recruit to the conference, we're going to deal with that. Because in the big picture, this is exactly where we should be. This is exactly the right thing to be doing. And we're as evidenced by the last 2 games, we weren't in games where we were overmatched per se. We were in the middle of those games. Now people say, well, yeah, but, and hey, let me tell you something. I watched the tape on this thing now, man. We played a bad first half against Maryland. That's an even game. And against Penn State, we're in the middle of that game now. There was a couple of points where it could have went even closer, and some could say there's a couple of points where they could have popped one in too, but that's football. My point is we played 2 good teams, and so that's our gauge, right? We didn't play a sub team. So now what we got to do is we're playing a really talented team, okay? And we just got to make sure that we go out and we play a good game, because when you're playing a team as explosive as this, you can't let them, get going, okay? But I like where we are. I mean, I don't like that we're 1-2. You guys know me well enough to know that. I don't like that at all. But I do like the fact that we're in the Big East. We're in Big East Conference play. We have a young football team with a bright future. And our staff, our team, we are working overdrive right now to mature our team up at a faster rate. That's what it is right now. How fast can we mature this team up? That's what it is. But it's like an annuity. What you put into it, though, there'll be a return on it. And we're hoping to get some return on Saturday, but there's no guarantees. There's just not any guarantees. Got to go play the game.
You said you had 4 true freshmen when we looked out there. There's Kyle Friend. Who are the other 3?
We got Zach Hooks. He's a true freshman. Couldn't practice or anything last year. You got Kyle Friend. You had Khalif Urban. You had Sam Benjamin. You had Kenny Harper. You had Jalen Fitzpatrick. And I think you might have had, you might have had another one out there. I think Roman Deloche might have been out there. So all
Same time with the ones, you mean?
Yeah. It's great. It's tremendous. I mean, I got to tell you, I looked out there and I was like, I know what it means. But I also know that, there's a lot of football ahead of those guys, and they're getting better every day. But they make freshman mistakes, and redshirt freshman mistakes. Make those mistakes, What happens is our consistency is not where it should be right now, and that's what's grabbing us. That's what got us in the Penn State game. A little more consistency, and you saw it with your own eyes. A little more consistency in there. That game is right on. It's dead on.